Hello everyone and welcome back to another video by Ian Talk. I'm your host Ian, and today I've got the part 2 of the Korean movies to watch on Netflix. As mentioned in part 1, one of the most frequent questions I get is where to watch Korean movies with English subtitles. This is a question that's hard to tackle as there are many factors that I need to consider before giving my answer. The availability of content available on Netflix varies depending on the country you are in, as each country has different licensing and distribution methods. This means that a site or a service available in one country most likely won't be available in another. What makes matters worse is that there isn't a single service or platform that supplies the high demand of Korean films with English subtitles, and I don't want to recommend any shady ways of watching. As mentioned in part 1 of this series, I personally watch Korean movies on Netflix, if not in theaters. Netflix has many Korean content available, but the availability of films differs drastically depending on which country you are in. The Korean Netflix has lots of great movies, but majority of it won't be available if you're not using the Korean Netflix server. And to make matters worse is the fact that most of the movies available don't have English subtitles. Thus, I have decided to compile and recommend the available Korean movies on the Korean Netflix server that do have English subtitles, and you guys can watch these movies using a VPN service. As I said in part 1, I don't have a particular VPN that I recommend, but there are a ton of VPNs out there, as well as guides that can help you use them on YouTube and other mediums. As mentioned in the previous video, I looked through all 369 Korean movies currently available on the Korean Netflix and filtered out those that actually do have English subtitles. There were a total of 53 that had subtitles, and I've mentioned the first 10 movies in the previous video going over the 10 that I watched and recommend. Other than the first 10 I mentioned in part 1 and the 10 movies I'll mention here, there are many more, so if you would like a continuance of this series, please let me know by liking and commenting on this video and I'll make a part 3. As with the previous episode, this list will be in alphabetical order and not by my liking or ratings. Now then, without further ado, let's get into today's video of part 2 of Korean movies to watch on Netflix. The first movie of the list is the 2018 movie High Society. Directed by Pyeonhyuk, who also directed 5 Senses of Eros and The Scarlet Letter, High Society is a very erotic movie. The film is a very mature one and has lots of sexual scenes, so don't watch with your parents or kids or it'll end up being very awkward. The movie stars Park Hae-il, Soo-hye, Yoon Jae-moon, Lam Mi-ran, Lee Ji-nook, Kim Kyu-sun, and Han Ju-young, and I've got a written review of the film if you'd like to learn more. The synopsis is as follows. Taejun is a well-known, respected economics professor. During a demonstration outside the National Assembly, a man lights himself on fire in protest. Startled by the man's action, Taejun runs towards the man without second thought and saves his life. This catches media attention and soon the eyes of the National Democratic Party. Taejun receives an offer from the party to be the newest congressman candidate for the party, and he accepts the proposal. As Taejun prepares for the elections, his wife, Soo-yeon, seeks to take advantage of the reopening of Mirae Museum to be its next chief director. However, things start to go downhill when new intel reveals that there were deceitful transactions between the Mirae Group and the National Democratic Party. Next, the number 2 Korean movie available on Netflix is the 2017 release film, The Merciless. Directed by Byun Sung-yeon, who also directed What You're Wearing or My P.S. Partner, and the upcoming movie Kingmaker, set to release later this year, The Merciless is a crime action film that stars the likes of Seol Kyung-gu, Im Si-wan, Kim Hee-won, Chon Hae-jin, and Lee Kyung-young. The synopsis of The Merciless is as follows. Cheo seeks to be the number 1 man of a gang. Hyun-soo is a fearless rookie. The two meet while in prison and form a strong bond. After getting out, the two work together to gain more power. However, the duo's true ambitions starts to reveal little by little. As they start to learn new things about each other, their relationship also begins to falter. A game of trust and betrayal begins. Moving on to the third movie of the list, the third movie is the 2017 film Midnight Runners. This movie was directed by Kim Joo-hwan, who also did The Divine Fury, and has the amazing actors Park Seo-joon, Kang Han-eul, Song Dong-il, and Park Ha-sun. This movie was mentioned on my Best Korean Comedies video, and rightfully so, as it is a hilarious movie. The chemistry between the two main leads, Park Seo-joon and Kang Han-eul, was great. The synopsis of Midnight Runners is as follows. The student police, full of motivation, Ki-jun, and his best friend, Hyeur, witness a kidnapping case while on their leave. They are the only two witnesses to the case, and as they learn from their police academy, they report the incident to the authorities. However, the strenuous reporting process and lack of evidence leads the case to no progression, and with the time winding down by the second, the duo decides to take it upon themselves to solve the case. The number 4 movie of the list is the most recently released movie on this list, Mr. Zoo: The Missing VIP. This movie was directed by Kim Tae-yoon, who also directed New Trial and stars the likes of Lee Sung-min, Kim Seo-young, Bae Jong-nam, and Kang So-won. As mentioned in my written review of the film, this comedy was geared towards a younger generation and has lots of childish comedy, so don't go into it with too high of an expectation and just watch it as a light watch. The synopsis of the movie is as follows. The ace agent of the NIS, Ju Tae-ju, or otherwise known as Mr. Zoo, was given the mission of escorting a VIP envoy from China. During the operation, Mr. Zoo encounters an accident, leading the VIP to be lost. However, this isn't the only weird event that occurs. Following the incident, Mr. Zoo is able to hear the voices of animals and communicate with them. Director Min and Manshik, colleagues of Mr. Zoo's in the NIS, begins to think Mr. Zoo has gone crazy, which is understandable, and so Mr. Zoo partners up with Ali, the military dog, to find the special envoy. With the teamwork of a human and animals, the mission to find the VIP begins. Going into the 5th movie, the number 5 movie is the 2017 film, The Outlaws. Directed by Kang Yun-sung, who also did Long Live the King, The Outlaws is a must-watch if you love Korean crime and thriller movies. This movie was mentioned in my Best Korean Action Movies video and stars the incredible actors Dawn Lee aka Ma Dong-seok, Yoon Kye-sang, Jo Jae-yoon, Choi Gi-hwa, Im Young-jun, and Jin Sung-gyu. If you haven't seen The Outlaws yet, I highly recommend this one. The synopsis of the movie is as follows. In 2004, a vicious boss of a new crime organization, Jiang Chen, comes to Seoul from Harbin and overthrows the existing gangs. In order to catch the upcoming thug, the beastly cop, Ma Seok-do, who's famous for using his fists to maintain peace in the neighborhood, and his team plan a strategy to end the reign of the recently formed gang. Moving along, the number 6 movie is the 2017 film, Real. Directed by Lee Sa-rang, who hasn't had any other works other than this, Real was one of the biggest disappointments in recent Korean cinema. The story, if you can call it that, was horrible, the progression was appalling, and it was just an all-around bad movie. Everyone I know that watched this movie said they left the theater asking the same question I had when I was done watching, which was, what in the hell was that movie? However, the movie had notable actors such as Kim Soo-yeon, Lee Sung-min, Song Dong-il, the late Seol Lee, Cho Woo-jin, Kim Hong-pa, Chung In-kyum, Choi Kwon, and Han Ji-yeon. And although I don't recommend watching this movie, I guess it's a good opportunity to see that even with amazing actors, a movie will fail with bad execution. The synopsis of the movie is as follows. As the opening of Chang Tae-young's casino called Sistar nears, a man claiming the ownership of the casino appears, named Cho Won-gun. As Tae-young is on the verge of losing the casino, he starts to look for investors. One day, a mysterious investor offers to not only solve the financial problems of Tae-young's, but resolve the issue with Cho Won-gun as well. With the advent of a mysterious investor, a war begins with Cho Won-gun, and the secret and conspiracy surrounding them slowly reveals itself. Next, the number 7 movie is the 2018 movie, Revenger. This all-out action movie was directed by Lee Sung-won, who was the assistant director of Memoir of a Murderer. Although I personally didn't like the movie that much, a lot of people said the action sequences of the film were great, which I do agree with. The movie stars Bruce Caan, Park Hee-sun, Yoon Jin-seo, and Kim In-kwon, and the synopsis of Revenger is as follows. Sura Island is an isolated place where death row convicts are sent to live on their own. Here, there are no laws, no reason, no constitutions. It's a free-for-all survival. In order to get revenge on Kun, Yul purposefully becomes a convicted felon to get to the island. Once on the island, he comes across Mali and Pau. Mali knows Yul's true identity, and after revealing it to everyone, Yul becomes a target to kill. With no place to hide, Yul puts his life on the line to get his vengeance. Going into the number 8 movie, this is another relatively new movie titled Startup. Directed by Choi Jung-yeol, who's responsible for One Way Trip, Startup is a comedic drama that showed a new side to Dawn Lee. I don't think I could have ever imagined Don Lee in a bob cut, but hey, here we are. The film also featured amazing actors Park Jung-min, Chung Hae-in, Yeom Jung-ah, Choi Sung-eun, Kim Jong-soo, and Yoon Kyung-ho. The synopsis of Startup is as follows. Taegil, a student who hates school, his home, and studying, is a troublemaker that's scolded every day by his mom. When his best friend, Sang-pil, decides he needs to start making money and starts working, Taegil decides to run away from his home. What does he do after running away? He gets a job at a Chinese restaurant. There, he meets a very strange and unique man in terms of both looks and personality, and the two start off on the wrong foot. At the restaurant, Taegil encounters many unforeseen events. The second to last film on the list is the 2019 movie Svaha, The Sixth Finger. This movie was directed by Chang Jae-yeon, who also directed a movie of similar nature, The Priest. Svaha, The Sixth Finger was a very creepy movie, and as mentioned in my written review, the film did a very good job at creeping out the audience without relying on jump scares. The cast members included the likes of Lee Jung-jae, Park Jung-min, Lee Jae-in, Yoo Ji-tae, Chung Jin-young, Lee Da-wit, and Shin Sung-yu. And this is a movie I recommend if you enjoy horror/mystery/thriller movies. The synopsis is as follows. In a rural area far from the city, a pair of twin sisters are born. Keum-hwa was born with a disabled leg, and her older sister, who does not have a name, was foreseen to die without living too long. However, both have lived up until now, 16 years later. Meanwhile, Pastor Park, a member of the Institute of Religious Affairs, starts looking into a cult he discovered. And when a young girl's body is discovered following a tunnel accident, Pastor Park begins finding correlations between the two. Unfortunately, the suspect of the tunnel accident commits suicide before the investigation officially begins, but Pastor Park manages to find the last person that talked with the suspect. As his investigation grows deeper and deeper, he finds more and more connections between the twins, the cult, and the tunnel incident. And finally, the last movie of Korean movies to watch on Netflix is the 2019 film Tune In for Love. Tune In for Love was directed by Chung Ji-woo, who also directed Eun-gyo, Heart Blackened, and Fourth Place, and is a romance film that really hits the feels. I mentioned in part 1 that Crazy Romance was a very real movie, and Tune In for Love is also a very real movie, but in a different way. Whereas Crazy Romance was more real in relation to comedy, Tune In for Love was able to really pull out the emotions out of the audience. Starring Kim Go-eun, Chung Hae-in, Park Hae-jun, Kim Guk-hee, Chung Yoo-jin, and Choi Jun-young, the synopsis of Tune In for Love is as follows. The year was 1994, and the first day, Yoo-yeol hosted the radio show Music Album when Misu was working at a bakery, and fate brought her and Hyunwoo together. The two show interest in each other, but the love line is short-lived as the fate that brought them together separates them. Years pass by, and the two run into each other again like a miracle. But their situations and timing does not allow the two to be together. As this process repeats itself over and over, the two rely on Yoo-yeol's radio show to keep in touch, and eventually, Misu and Hyunwoo start a hot relationship. How long will fate let it last this time? That concludes today's video on part 2 of Korean movies to watch on Netflix. Remember, as with part 1, these movies weren't in the order of my liking but in alphabetical order. Also, these movies are available on the Korean Netflix at the time of recording, so April 20th of 2020. The availability of the movies may change as time goes on, so be sure to watch them before they become unavailable on Netflix. I'd love to hear which movies you will be watching, so please comment down below which ones you're interested in. Also, you can join the Ian Talk Telegram group and discuss further with me and other K-film enthusiasts. Lastly, please like this video and subscribe to show me your appreciation and to also let me know that you like a part 3, and join the Ian Talk Patreon to show me your support in what I do. Thank you to everyone that watched till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.